What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today I want to talk to you about SoFi. I want to give you a quick overview of what really happened, what the data points are saying, and everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So SoFi was able to close 2.13% in the green. Today was a complete crazy day. Pre-market, you had just people anticipating for Armageddon. It did hit a low of roughly around $14.07 this morning. Absolute craziness. So hats off to those individuals that did buy that dip. But luckily enough, PCE did come out better than anticipated. So that data was going to be that make it or break it. If hotter than anticipated, you would see another sell-off similar to what happened on Wednesday, but luckily enough it came in better than anticipated, so this gave the broader market a little bit more reassurance. And then not only that though, you did have Goolsby say that ultimately there's going to be more than 2 rate cuts in 2025, so pretty much kind of contradicting what Powell just stated a couple days back. But regardless, this isn't the first time this type of scenario played out. Market absolutely loves this. So essentially you're going to see most likely higher highs, because the only thing that was really on everyone's mind was inflation once again. But with today's data, people feel very, very confident that we're going to be moving to the kind of the next leg up. SoFi though didn't have any news, no SEC filings today, so it was kind of just piggybacking off of the broader market. Shorts did return 228,000 shares. 12.46% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 132.57 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average is 1.06. Then the cost to borrow minimum is somewhat back to normal, so it is 0.74, so it is moving higher. So whatever broker out there that's been paying people, they literally stopped what the hell they were doing, and it seems to be somewhat reset. So we'll just have to wait and see if that does continue into the next little bit. But aside from that, moving over to options, this is where you're seeing a lot of optimism. 26 million in calls, 10 million in puts, 41% of all the options being done today were optimistic in nature. So you are starting to see that level of optimism once again, and somewhat in line with the last several trading days for the total premium. So today was 35.8, and kind of breaking that nice 3-day downtrend that SoFi was on. But like I said, you are starting to see a lot of optimism. So for next week, you're starting to see roughly around for it to be above 1750 again. So more of a retest of that new 52-week high. So pretty optimistic for that. You see random spurts of it to be above $19, and kind of that's basically it for today. But looking at the bears, they're anticipating for it to be sub $15. So honestly, I've done quite a few different videos today, different sectors, different YouTube channels, but one common thing that has been happening today is that the bears, they seem to not do anything. So even based on this information right here, bears are anticipating for it to be roughly sub $15 next week. So a lot more upside is anticipated. Like I said, the market is now anticipating for a nice push higher. So something to kind of keep in mind. This is the open interest, but like especially with today being Friday, it's good to know. But with it closing sub 1550, that does mean everything above here expires worthless. So you're seeing random pockets of in the money options. So 10,000 at that 15, you have 12,000 at that 13, but nothing of really big substance. So again, something just to kind of keep in mind. And looking at the open interest, there's nothing really, no big walls, nothing like that for next week. So essentially, if SoFi and the data points come out better than anticipated, then you could see a push higher to, even based on what the options is signaling, 1750 or even higher than that. These are all the transactions that did occur on the secondary market above $100,000. So 1.3 million, 7.1, 2 million, 6 million, a lot of big transactions. Like I stated, I think like a week ago, this is just becoming the norm now. Just seeing multi-million-dollar transactions, just that's the name of the game. That's just SoFi now. So even first thing, 6.29 million. So pretty good stuff. When it comes to the technicals though, this is where things get very interesting. So with it at 1535, it did have a low of 1458. So it actually bounced off of this S3. So we do know going forward, that's a strong support, 1461. but ultimately it did land between the S1 and this S2. So 1544, and then 1596 is going to be the next strong targets / resistance. So kind of just take note of that going forward into next week. But I think SoFi did recover very, very well. I think just the pre-market price of 14 and change is absolute crazy. But at the same time, when I woke up and I saw that, I kind of was panicking a little bit because, of course, as I've stated, this point right here, $14.38, this pivot, if SoFi does break below that, then this is where you can anticipate a little bit more downside, because then the algorithms would really be working against SoFi. So I kind of was a little bit worried at first, but luckily enough, PCE saved the day, caused a nice push higher. No matter what though, SoFi still did close below the ALMA, so going into next week, definitely needs to get above that 1575 in order for it to continue its trend higher. So just take note of all of that. But as of right now, because of everything that's been happening, still does indicate that it is rather oversold. So pretty good stuff in that regard. And then eventually, if SoFi doesn't continue to break higher, this is where you'll have that 50-day moving average kind of chasing it for the most part. So again, if it does break below the 50-day moving average, historically, it does cause like a 20% pullback, but that most likely won't be occurring for at least another 2 weeks, I would anticipate. So I think overall, SoFi is still getting a lot of attention from big institutions. And if there is more just Fed speakers reconfirming that there will be more than 2 rate cuts in 2025, then I think the market is going to be very calm and be able to really move higher. As I've brought up in the past though, what I find very interesting and weird is the fear and greed index. For the most part, the last 2 days was under extreme fear. Now it kind of pushed higher to the fear category, but still, in theory, people's appetite for risk is very much on the table. Like, I do a pre-market video, a lot of spec plays are still getting a lot of attention, which usually does only happen when it's under the greed or extreme greed category. So there is a very big discrepancy that's happening in the broader market. So I feel like there is just a lot of extra volatility because of this fear, if that makes sense. But at the same time, I think just Powell said it very well, the fact that like the economy is doing very well. A lot of data points are very good, signaling more of an expansionary stage in the market. So this might be a golden opportunity to buy the dip on some of your favorite stocks, including even SoFi, before it does move significantly higher. Because you also have to factor in, right, GDP the day prior. So yesterday, Thursday, it came in very, very positive, 3.1 versus 2.8 the forecast. So all the data points that have been coming out is very good, and that means that SoFi itself, business-wise, is going to continue to flourish. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents on basically what has happened today, the craziness and everything else. So don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Hopefully everyone has an amazing weekend ahead of them. And then one final thing, pop over to my Patreon, link in the description below and also the comments, giving buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. So definitely pop over there and take a look. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.